Hello everyone. This is a video where I'll show you how we can select the mutual funds using the Fidelity Mutual Fund Screener, and this is for your individual project. So first go to the Fidelity web page, and then under News and Research you can click on Mutual Funds. That will open up this page with the Fund Screener. So the first thing we are going to do is to choose the asset class. So if we are selecting equity funds, so under asset class, I can say US equity, and then I can say view results. So that's going to show me a variety of funds. But now I want to choose an index fund. So I can say under this add criteria, I can say fund management approach, and I can say index. And then once I do that, I can get a whole lot of these index funds. So keep in mind it has to have this kind of an index name in it. So the moment you see an index fund in the fund name, you know that it's a index fund. Okay, and preferably try for something which has the S&P 500 or a 500 in the name. So that tells you that it's following the S&P 500 index. So it's good at this point to kind of take a screenshot of this, because then you'll have a whole lot of choices of funds along with the ticker symbol. That's this 5-letter name here, this string of 5 characters. So that's basically the ticker symbol for the funds, the ones in the parentheses. Okay, so you will have a variety of different choices here. So that's good for you to have, because you might try out one fund and maybe by the time you go and do the analysis, it doesn't fulfill the criteria, or maybe someone has selected it, or it doesn't have the data or something. Then you don't want to keep coming back to the screener. Okay, so it helps if you go ahead and take a screenshot of this, so you will have pretty much a variety of different funds that you can choose from. So you can click on, for example, the Fidelity Index Fund. So I clicked on this. So instead what I could do is to do a right click, and then it will open up in a new tab. So that way my original tab remains as is. So under this summary page, so that's what's going to open up. So this gives some summary data. So the main thing for us to keep in mind is this fund inception date. So this has to be this is the date the fund started. So this has to be before 1998 for us, 1999. Okay, we need at least 20 years of data. So that's good. And then it has a whole lot of these other characteristics, things like what is my expense ratio, turnover rate, assets under management, and so on. All of these things you are so there's one of the questions tells you that, hey, you know what, gets a lot of this current data. So this is basically where you can get it from. Okay, so what I did here is basically just use the asset management style, your equity index fund, to choose my fund. Instead, what I could do is I could use any other category, any other criteria that I want. For example, if I only want to study low expense funds, okay, so I can say, all right, so let me click on this expense ratio, and then I can say it has to be low cost. All right, and now you will get a sample of these low cost index funds. And then do the same thing, click on one of them, right click, opens in a new window, and then make sure that it is started before 1998. And then you will have a whole lot of this additional current information that you need to get. Now it helps to be very clear and precise at this stage. You might want to write down what all you did to select your fund. Okay, so if you had chosen some characteristics here, additional characteristics and so on, make sure you note it down, because one of the question asks you to write down what criteria you used to choose each of your funds. So you will want to keep track of this information as to how you selected your sample of mutual funds. And then if you have to get the some summary current data, lot of that information is here under the summary tab. And of course you can go ahead and explore what information is available on many of these other tabs. That's just for your information. Okay, once you have selected a fund and made sure that it fulfills some of the basic criteria that we want, then you can go to Words. So log into your Words account, click on this Get Data. then click on crisp. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see mutual funds, so click on that. So what we really want are basically the monthly returns and the assets under management. So we'll click on this monthly return file, and you can see here it has the total net asset value. This is the assets under management. This is the NAV per share. Think of this as the per share price. And this is the monthly return. So this has all of the data. So what you want to do is to put in some fund code. So let us say you're putting the Fidelity fund code. Okay. And keep in mind we want data from 1999 onwards. So you want to make sure that you get sufficient data. All right, and then I can download it as an Excel spreadsheet, but I want to show it to you on the screen, so I'm going to say all right, so show it as a fixed with text. Okay, but you can download it as a spreadsheet, and then click on this submit query. So it's still running. Oh, there is an error, so let me see what's going on. Okay, what is the error? The error is I had put the ticker symbol under the fund identifier. Okay, so that's a mistake I made. So I should say this is now my ticker symbol. Okay, it's not the fund identifier that is specific to CRISP. It's not also the CUSIP number. So then I will go ahead and click on this fixed with text, but you should download it as a spreadsheet as I mentioned before, or as a SAS dataset. That's up to you, depends on how you're going to do the analysis. And then it will show up relatively quickly. So you can see here. Okay, so for this fund, starting from 2010, it has all of the monthly returns and the NAV per share and the total net assets. So what I want is to go ahead and get this data from even earlier. So let's go back even earlier. So let's say we want it from 1990. Oh, I did say from 1998. So for whatever reason on Words, this particular fund does not have data going back to 1999. So I cannot use this fund for my analysis. Okay. So just to double check, so I can go back to my query. See, I am asking it to do the get the data from 1998 onwards, and this is my ticker symbol, and I want all three variables, and I'm going to get it as a fixed with text. I'm just going to run it again. Okay, so I don't know why it's going here, so give me half a minute. Okay, so here is the text file, so it should open up as a text file. Oh, there you go. All right, it does open up as a text file. Okay, so you can see here, so this fund only has data starting pretty much from 2011 onwards. So it doesn't go back all the way to 1998. Now keep in mind, this is even though the mutual fund screener from Fidelity tells me the fund inception was 1998, but you can see this particular share class had an inception only in 2001. So this particular fund with this class only has data from 2011. Okay, so it's not going to be workable for our purposes. So it doesn't have sufficient data. Okay, so let's take a look at this fund. So you can see this started in 1990. So let us see if this has data on Words, PREIX. So I can go ahead, get onto my Words, and then I can put in my ticker symbol. And then I can go ahead, submit my query, and I can wait for it to run. It'll probably take a minute or so. So wait for a minute. And then once I get the text, then I can click on that. And here you can see it has data from 1998 onwards, and it is continuous data, keeps going all the way until 2020. So this would be a viable fund for us if no one else has selected it. So this is how you can select your fund and get the data, make sure it has all the data, and make sure that you have a viable fund which has sufficient data and fulfills all the criteria that we want. So how you can use data from both Words and from the Fidelity Fund Screener to select our fund. So the advantage of using something like a Fidelity Fund Screener is that's available to everyone. So whether or not you're a student at NC State, you can access it. Something like Words, you can only access it if you're a student. So your access will end by the time you graduate. Okay, so that is why I wanted to make sure that we make you a little bit more familiar with some of the commonly available data sources that are available for free, for which you don't have to pay. Okay, so this is how you can go ahead and select the funds, get the data, make sure that it's there. Once you've done this for all the 3 funds, then you can go ahead and post your choices on Moodle. Before that, just make sure that no one else has selected any of these 3 funds. All right, all 3 funds should be unique to you. So when you make a posting on Moodle in the forum, make sure that you include the ticker symbol, which is this 5 character string. You should include the ticker symbol in the text in the subject message of your posting. So this way, no one has to go ahead and click on several different postings to figure out which fund you selected. Okay, so make it easy for your classmates. Just post the 3 ticker symbols in the subject line in your Moodle posting. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. But hopefully this is detailed and instructive enough. But it's possible you may still have some questions. If so, feel free to email me or post it on Moodle.